So, and I'm finding out, I'm going to point out something. You see that exit there? Why the point's down? I always wondered this. I don't see a single explanation why you would not blast smoke into people in the bus stop, because that's what it does. I was thinking for her to relax a bit because we don't have the strength for me to carry the vehicle. You notice the only vehicle that, the only car there, the car is a basic thing. Yeah, what I'm pointing is, the good chip in the backpack. It's an important thing. There's the food in the thing there. You pick up a car and come back. So it's very difficult with her like this. But this is how close she was to the street. That's why I picked it up. When I saw the other ones that moving towards the street, and I thought, okay, the bus is arriving. And then I imagine maybe they drop down by the sidewalk. Right there. Look at that. Look at that. After all, it will only be like the first time they steal food from me. They steal food from me. Oh, someone from the other car. It is a good car. I'm gonna wait for them. And good is relative, but sure it's all not bad. This being the one that was here. Again, how much you can see the car in general? Even people who have babies often enough don't have their babies with them to the point where they would use them, you know? But they use that to the extent that they usually have their babies on their backpack or in their own car. So it's a rare thing to have the baby in your lap to the point where you're going to stop there and say, yeah, just do that in a few minutes, very few minutes that I was waiting. This is the guy comes all the time to pick it up and leave it outside because everybody leaves it outside. The guy talking to me the other day specifically said, it's not like I don't buy that. I didn't buy that at all. It was 100% of David. That is the story. Even though it would be a big move, but it was the story. That was me buying that. By now would amount to dozens of thousands of bucks. Which to be fair, but you know, the point is, the issue is I am a customer. And every other customer just drops the car outside. In fact, you drop this car on the other side up there, beyond the gas station. Which is way off. That's way off. In front of the place? Yep. Hey, yeah. Oh yeah, 100% right on the bus. Where's the rest? Right outside. Hey, baby. I don't know how we're going to shape this in, but it's very convenient and sooner. Sure, need to hurry. presumably went with you to like an Uber or so. And you get there, and you get the car, and you go in. I'm gonna get you some food. Which might be another thing. No, but that person by someone else. Happy me, this is going to maybe. More than we know this, so that you should baby. Actually, everything. No, it's ready for another one. It's okay. Half a little bit. Try not to focus too much on the class. Because again, if it's about as I can see something wrong, the action, that might be this is on purpose. That might be a difference. Alright. Which, by the way, is everybody else does. Most people coming out to smoke. Again, and note that most people will be upset, particularly seeing that when they know that that's on purpose. This to have an idea of perspective, right? What I'm saying instead is for the crimes they didn't do to me. And most importantly, not even just to find those crimes, but dehumanization, disfranchisement, it's just about to put in perspective to you that you can see it yourself. When I mentioned before that anyone at face value seeing this would understand. As I said, in the bus situation, it's perfect. You get to see that at any point anybody should sit down. Most of the defamations and most of the disfranchisement and most of the crap you see coming from them is like that. And you might understand why they don't do visuals, you might understand why they tamper with evidence, because again, evidence is evidence, right? Evidence is not argument. This is argument. Evidence is evidence. Is what proof of what actually happened, not proof of what I'm saying happened. Unless what I'm saying happened, So in a way, you can even kind of twinkle that to be a very interesting argument for public. Now, that doesn't change the facts, but it is an interesting way to phrase that in a way that sounds interesting to tell people. Because if those videos are not in dispute, and if they're tampered, they're not in dispute, they're not being tampered by me. So, at the end of the day, I'm trying to expose you what's happening, trying to prevent it. They're tampering with evidence and altering what you can see, and then they come up with lies and other things. So, can you dispute that you don't think that anything already and figure out a way to turn what you just saw into something different? Maybe. Honestly, I don't even think that there were that many. Perhaps it's because I'm too guys like at this point, and I don't know. But I don't know. No, you don't know what you don't know. I don't think it was such a huge deal there of things being done to us directly in the bus. Even fewer drugs than usual. I imagine because of the kids. That's the reason. You maybe think the reason they don't want me with in the bus that would be some type of thing about the kids themselves. But no, they all know who I am. And even then, I don't think they'll care about the kids all that much either. The actual argument is because they likely noticed a very bad rap of throwing narcotics in a bus to children, and they realizing that that's a big problem, that I'm more credible at this point than they are, even when saying something like that. So that's the reason we keep trying to get into the other ones, why they can throw the narcotics with less of a PR issue. So, no. That's actually a very clever thing, and I think it was entirely... Oh, you want more? That's a PR, that's a very interesting thing. I think it was accidental intelligence Because you notice, I don't know if the person is actually being suspicious or being malicious to me, not suspicious, or being malicious to me or not. Because sometimes vehicles, especially those cold vehicles, take a long time. And I even not find surprised when they take a long time for it because of me. But at the same time, I cannot stop from thinking that they definitely wanted me into this position, which is usually some of our dads are like behavior arguments for speaking English, talking on the phone, having coherent speech lines as it goes. But the issue is, you see that as a project thing. And that's the point what you see now. Even if you say that you've seen this with me, the catch, the things, large number of amount of things, which again, as you saw that very recently, who is responsible for, and the rest being a big deal. And again, the thing there, which is the chef's case, is he still has guilty gloves in front door. Nothing was also said that would make even the slightest jump. So then, well, so long as you still have a bunch of guilty gloves in the front door, it's a bunch of fucking dirty, guilty things from underwear to shirts to pants to all sorts of things like that. And he knows that has nothing to do with me. As a matter of fact, I don't even go there. He sees the cameras, right? And there's no way that I would just say, hey, look at the cameras. I don't even come here. That has nothing to do with me. I was even thinking of taking out the pants in the back today. And I was going, but I don't know. So as I said, everything about that is warning because, as I said, having a bunch of things which is essentially just cardboard and bottles, and that's either way out of sight, and that becoming an issue. While guilty clothes in the front door that everybody goes to is not, is self-evidently absurd. But the issue is rather than that, absurd. Which means, based on that, they even listen to it saying itself, they know it's just cardboard and bottles. It is. As a matter of fact, as he was burning or dealing with that, even seeing how those moving them out, those moving out of bags, there's nothing but locked up and it was moving to the sides. It was like everything in bags, even the piss bottles were open as it was moving into the bag to throw it out. You can clearly see that heat. So, my point being, you know it's nothing illegal, it's nothing bad, there's nothing of any sort. You said that, and you can see that, and anyone else could see that. I was showing that to you in the process. So, again, with that out of the way, you take the process that you got out of the way. There's no reason also for the lie other than this. So when you see all these holes around you, that's the same reason. And also working, I can be working with. So as I said, so everything in a box, everything in a box, today actually is exception. That is the extra box that with a single thing inside, nothing that is there in a bottle inside. But it's the covers that he gave to me. And one single bottle. And that's the one thing that is not inside the box. Because I normally carry that with me, but because I just over for my food bag, as you saw that it only has 3 attachment points, but the other one was ripped off. I cannot put that, carry that easily. As you saw in the video coming down the bus, it's light actually, doesn't have anything to drink inside, not cola or water or anything. It's just, you don't have attachment points. Also, the important thing to notice that is that those Uber drivers don't see a problem with a car with lotion. I don't intend to use Uber anytime. I know how bad it is before. They're doing all sorts of crimes to me. Besides price. Bus is by far the best thing to carry those things. And again, if the issue was about being full, you see how today I was trying to avoid this bus, not even because of the foolishness, but because, crime is another thing. And that's a problem for them too. I'm not a badge person, and I tend to walk around most things to make it clear for the city. Also, you understand that even though that I don't find any of those things acceptable, what I said before, it is true. I don't know if I do that all the time because that's the thing about this level of abusing and gaslighting. It affects your brain and your mind to such a level where Jeff B as well, for the matter, record is watching it. No, it doesn't matter. It affects the way you perceive reality to such a way where it's difficult to just slip from one to the other. So many times it looks normal. Actually, it is not quite that. Anyway, as I said, I'm almost picking up the car, but I don't want to distract the person and move away from talking. So, as I was saying, again, I don't think that the person's a bad person. I think it's somebody else. I think it's just someone leaving the fucking supermarket. You interact with me anyway, if you're trying to fast, when you do mystery, you're just fun. As I said, it's not everyone. It's just, from my perspective, it's virtually everyone, and again, you get to see that because you get to see the fact that they're different. The word's true. They could be different, in which case, you get to destroy how many they are, or it could be the same individuals, in which case that's stalking by definition, right? Although the amount of these two things that came to there was a time that I was trying to say that me recording the variety of things coming to me to do harm to me was actually stalking. So the stalking is not a bunch of people stalking one person. It's the one person showcase the waves on waves of people coming to do harm to him. So again, all sorts of, and then imagine what kind of thing would be coming from us. You know anything about me, you know the way that I approach, reality in general, and the whole legal terminology where I do most things. I should pick up that app before I have someone say, I know, almost as good as someone trying to, I don't know, complicated. Another example, which is a brutality. So we're gonna just finish what I was saying there. I was talking, there are two things about, I was talking about victim abuse. It's difficult to perceive things and gaslighting. That's the whole point. But it's different from gaslighting in a relationship, healthier relationship. I'm not talking about those very fucked up abusive ones to such an extent. I'm talking the ones that you can still realize that you're not entrapped there and you can leave. And the issue is, just like you in your life, in most people's lives, it's a common word being used very open, kind of like nasty or not used to the full extent that it's supposed to be. In this case, I really think it's going to lead to a dispute, which is fine if it's going to showcase that to you. Again, at face value, if you cannot walk your 2 feet inside, and instead you want to take the cart of someone carrying this many things, because you cannot just pick up another one and in Mufat you have dozens of those. I'd say that that's self-evident as well. But the issue is it might need to happen, and I don't know how I'm going to handle that because I don't want to leave my things alone and trip here, which is also stopping me. But to finish what I was saying there, I don't remember what I was talking about carrying the things and the effect it has on me. Putting the things inside. I think I was talking about the process happening, but I'm just not mentioning that. That's what the fun there. To the fact that the drugs have on me, there's no incident, there's nobody around me, there's no harassment that I can perceive at least. There's no nothing. It's just the impact of the fun in here. And you get to see how I was talking before and I'm talking now. But I am not talking about this way. Something else fancy. Several people that were there. So far, 3 individuals switch over that side. One coming down, the 2 now going up. No, not those 2. One going up, there's another one before. Going there closer and around the cart exclusively. It's probably caused a reaction from me. So, again, just pointing that out to you. And the only reason I'm concerned about that wouldn't be any of this. It'd be because it's not at the end of the world that I'm out here and I have to go there. Because in the time that I go there to come back, what happened last time I brought my things on the floor? Someone picked up a napkin full of perfume and threw inside her box. That's documented. I will still have that. I'm going to showcase that to you. A minute, if there was a single person I didn't believe was involved in this, I would ask, can you see if there's no perfume here? It's just me. And it's perfume. Okay, it's not piss or shit, but the point is, it doesn't matter. It's a cat. She doesn't like that. That's likely why she freaked out. And that was the purpose. So why is the problem with how is the end of the world? Well, because in the time of me going there and coming back, they might drug me to the point where coming back here, I'll be struggling. They might try to throw something on the thing. They might try to put something on her box. There's no conceivable way you would say that you will actually attempt to hurt me by throwing something inside her box to cause her to be uncomfortable. You know, they threw shit drugs on her yesterday. She pooped herself before we can manage to get here. It was seconds before we got here. But we did. And that was a problem for me, but it's also horrible for her. That's why she hates the box. Each time you see she's struggling to go inside the box, fully appreciate every single crime they did. It's essentially the same thing as me. If she's struggling to go into the box, the same thing as me trying to grab that cart. Because the simple idea that someone might leave us stranded here can lead to some type of atrocity or some other crime being done to us. And I don't want that. And that has an impact on me. And you see the way that, in a way, we're very similar to that. And you can see how that affects that, which is self-evident. That's the point. And that's what I'm showcasing about all those other incidents. All those things are face value clear. Even if you say that it was just a guy struggling inside the bus, even so, it's a couple minutes. No reasonable person would find that upsetting to be spending a couple minutes seeing the sheer amount of things that I had. It's not like I was that boxed with my legs stretched and I didn't want to move my legs so much fast. I was sitting, there was a cat on top of me, and everybody knows about the cat. Even if you didn't see the cat. Now here's an interesting incident here. The vehicle in front backed into the parked vehicle in the back. But that's the worst, because the buzzing started before the vehicle started moving. So I don't know how the guy in the back predicted that the guy in the front was going to back into it. And most important, probably because he engaged the... But even then, I like... And by the way, that'll be how the good chunk of the potential things would happen. And if you think that even that's not the case, I don't dispute that won't be the case now, but I would say that that's not be the case frequently. But that helps you cover up for the possibility. Okay? So, again, I could show the faces and it'll be fine. Very hard to actually get any conviction or source in there because appearance of normalcy is what you like. But the issue is, it doesn't matter. What I just talked to you. So they demonstrated to you a very, very clear explanation that they lie to each other. The issue is, they are everyone. I never met this guy in my life. So I'm not going to have a beef with this guy and he's going to come here to do that to me or with anyone else. It's just about as many. And that's the point that I'm talking to you as well, why those things are so self-evident. Every one of those, seeing any of those things, to see how they are manufactured. Which means that technically you just need as many situations to happen until everybody figured out that none of that, all that is being done to me. But then it goes into the point where, yeah, but it's done to me by them. So that's the point. Okay? Now the idea that it's not, you don't have to be a genius to be that. It's nothing about staying in the street or being back. The idea that is to say, look at a guy talking on the phone, say the guy talking on the phone is sort of a weird stalker, doing that even though you see two. Actually, if it was just one, it would have been much, much better for that claim, but they couldn't resist the idea of having to double tap. So you see how premeditated that was. Because if you think that those things are not real, again, hundreds of days in bus rides and other times like this where there's disappearance of things. And as I said to you, they only go for it if they think it's going to work. But when you have the times, you have the times. Right? As I said before, it's not like you'll have several incidents when you're trying to get into the bus so they didn't either steal our fare, literally stole a fare, or just don't allow us to go in, or they can stay there and be drugged. Because again, staying places means being drugged constantly. Notice how they're drugging me here, that they apparently stopped or changed once I emphasized that. But to that point, you notice I was getting confused, all of a sudden I couldn't think anymore, and then all of a sudden that goes away and I can function again. Again, for you to see. Everyone can see that. That's the point. Okay? As a matter of fact, they're shitting themselves in fun as they're watching this and me explain, because they think it's being explained at face value, and this is not going to let... Okay, no power to what I think is going to work. That's what they just say. Just be mindful of the face. And so, just bypass the face. Yes, but I'm going to see a plenty more later. And yes, indeed I am being disputed to the face. Because in cases like this, I cannot stop from thinking how hard it is to pin down those individual things. But at the end of the day, that's okay. And it's not just that, it's the eternal gun to your head, which is essentially just an average Tuesday for me, of saying that they're gonna just do that, and then indeed they're gonna sell that to anyone else, gonna be masturbators to judge me, and that's my life over. Because what else would I do if they all decide to do so, even though how explicit this is? So yeah, and that's every day. So as I said to you, and you may see understand why I said those things. At that time I sound a bit off place, but now you can get to actually see when I said the little uncertainty that they have about what's about to happen to them, it's just another Tuesday to me. So you can just see how they try to reflect it back, or even the harassment from today you saw a police car parked weirdly there and everything else. And it's like, yeah, that's uncertainty. It's some Tuesday to me. I don't know what the point that was supposed to be, but sure. To me, it's just what I go through every day. The uncertainty if it's going to be normal or if some atrocity was planned months ahead and it's about to be done and I have no clue until minutes before, it's just another Tuesday to me. So, again, and that's what they find ridiculously funny. No, it's not quite that. They're going to say when I point out all the ridiculous things that happen, they substantiate and help you see that, so that will no longer be capable of happening, because God forbid they actually do that. That's only should speculate the reasons why I actually didn't bother me or did another mysterious crime to me. And before the end, it's going to become clear, right? Because that's become a shut deal in the end if indeed I get murdered or anything else. Because the issue is there was nothing to do with morality, nothing to do with decency. It's simply a factor of they don't want to throw away the toy, right? They're having a lot of fun, you see. Now, again, as I said, now it's an argument. It's going to become more clear towards the end if indeed it's a case of get murdered, because again, it's a shut deal. Indeed, it only became too much of a problem that was a thing to be done. Which is why, again, let's see. And to be fair, as I said before, I cannot tell what my face will be. I can tell that. As I said, those things are explicit. Anyone seeing this can perceive what's actually happening. As I said, I'm not complaining about anything particular in the bus myself, but I can tell you, but based on previous experiences that I have, things like this will lead to crimes that we saw before. You would hear those criminals sometimes addressing that when they realize no longer in their best interest to say those things loudly close to me. Not because they believe in them, but because they found it to be funny. As a matter of fact, I don't even think that many of them actually did report anything if they wanted to someone else. Who be masturbated, but even then, I don't even know if that actually got to happen, or if they just said that, and the criminals also listened to that through my phone and through recorded, and then they did the thing. As I said, they use this phone as a method of conspiracy. They use that to talk to each other. I just didn't do. Well, I have to believe that this random, man and wife having this casual conversation in the mall about shitting themselves in front of everybody or something similar to that, as you do in a romantic dinner, right? Casual, normal thing. Except that's the only thing I try to increase the volume to replicate the, having a nice conversation, talk soft, and then I just yell this random thing in the middle of nowhere, and then you continue moving forward. So, as I said to you, things like that in the context of other things that actually happen, like entitled behaviors, there were two. Oh, by the way, talk about shoes. There were two females passing with a very entitled behavior. It would be that one, and there were rather, large one of that to the side going forward. Also interesting. No, not concerned. But as I said before, that doesn't matter. For another wave of drugs in here. This time we're talking about depression drugs. Distraught depression drugs. Wind blows from that direction, it's like it's moving that way. If you ever want to know why I'm facing more that way than this way, it's by the fact you have a wheel of that. The wheel is a feeler, by the way. Its purpose there is to feel those things having an effect on us. While to that side you have someone actually releasing the thing. In case I don't mention them, because what they realize at some point is that I don't necessarily mention those things, plus probably interesting that they'll have their ahead of time knowledge of what I'm feeling or not. Because even if I mention, I might just not mention it the right way. So as I said to you, that's just fucking Tuesday. Okay? Including of all the perceived fears that come from all the attempts to things they do. Each time one of them tries to say that you can just do some of those absurd things on daylight, the actual message that being said is you can do whatever you want to you, and there's nothing you can do. Because if you can do this, and nothing else happens, that's essentially the point. And you better comply. Each time that you say, yeah, you see me emphasizing compliance, each time I talk about smiles and laughter and that, I want you to fully understand the context of what that's supposed to mean. And yes, I do smile the face and they have this and shit, that's how they'll be ever known. Get away the fear though. And as I said, if everyone that you see interacting with you directly, indirectly at a first degree, indirect first degree will be considered this, like, in a way that I'll be talking about you in a perceivable way that is about you directly or interacting with you, and all of them are perceived involved in this, because as I said to you before, there is not a single person, and it makes sense, and I don't even actually blame to this point that much the neutral parties, the ones that are just random, so beautiful, okay. The ones interacting with me directly will be the criminals passing right next to me, but see another one coming. The ones interacting with me at the first degree indirectly will be the true wrong thing there. So, as you can see, its purpose there is something to do with this crime, much like the other ones. Notice the difference, by the way? I'm gonna let you see briefly. Notice what I said about the previous female, that ironically enough was exactly in the same place with the car, with something that I actually wanted. As a matter of fact, it was something not only that I wanted, it was something that was crucial for me to move. And how I could perceive that female, I don't saw anything with involvement in this. And those I knew that even with a couple of glances. I think it's just a coincidence. Oh, so by the way, over there, the female that I just said was coming this way, it literally took a random selfie facing down to the floor as for that. Okay? So as I said, things like that. Just take a moment to appreciate that those people and shit actually like to take selfies when they are around doing crimes to me. Never one about that one. Wanna hear something funny? I was just listening to something on the Bluetooth. Bluetooth just changed the. There was this something. It was just this buzzing. I actually felt it was background. Only now I noticed that when it stopped. The sound of like a speaker putting up headphones when you connect. And back in the day, you actually had them all when they were physical by cable, because you notice that there's energy going there, but then there's nothing. And there's a distinctive difference when you connect the plug and you pull it off. Now, technically, you can argue that there could be that the place is not properly grounded, and there's all sorts of argument. I'm not kind of a sound guy, but my issue is I just felt that now, as if it was connected and now has been pulled off, which I didn't even notice it was connected until it was pulled off, because all of a sudden it was silent, actual silent. Like that. Not actually something being said, just the noise as if, as I said, that's the best way to say. Connect a plug, especially those old, they have the old records. So, and again, so that's that. Now, the reason those criminals are there? Well, apart from having fun doing those things, it's also pretty obvious, right? It happens to make sense. It's a problem, isn't it? Because again, despite the best attempts to try to convince me that the entire world is a rock and all them are, I really don't believe that to this day, and I don't think that it's about to change anytime in the future. So, that's a big problem. But don't get me wrong. There were open talks about this, that they would expect me to go as far as suicide to make this stop. And this is not, and they're not being shy to actually, you can listen to they saying those words. Which obviously you're gonna now see not only that, substantiating that, you're gonna see now the mockeries of coming from that, which is pretty good. I'm gonna try to get those faces at the very least, even if it's not too much. But again, I'm saying that because there's so many things that I'm trying to do, right? But didn't even get inside yet. Just to understand the classical perspective. Okay. So those are the explanation videos. I understand it's too longer, but I always find it strange, particularly before it was very clear to see. I cannot conceive, and there was ones earlier when YouTube alone again, your YouTube is on the message for this, where you got to see random videos of this, or rubbing noises and that, and you have like 50 views or 100 something views, and it's like, who would watch this? Who would suggest this? I mean, AI and Google pretty good in YouTube, let's say. You don't get suggestions to videos of just rubbing noise with site with date, no tags at all, which is another way you can connect those things. And beyond that, you have the just nothing with nothing, no comments, no views, no, as I said, that doesn't sound at all. That does sound a lot like what we actually happened, which is the criminals knew that for a long time. How they know my name, so it's much to find, and they will be looking for that with the specific purpose of seeing that to do this. As a matter of fact, I almost regret saying what I said right after, which is kind of the commentary. Do you know how YouTube works? Because essentially they're adding views to videos, which just means that that affects the algorithm of how videos are suggested. Which again, interesting choice worthy of individuals who know one's business share. For intelligence, it's nothing else. But as I said, intelligence for the most part in this is about not getting caught. It's not about anything. It's not about anything. You don't require to be smart to see the absurd things that are done. You don't require to be smart to have human levels of compassion or human decency to the things that you see. But most importantly, your issue is not in your brain. If you see some of those atrocities, particularly when done to her or to me, or if not necessarily just about the things that happen on a daily basis, which in itself is wrong, because of sheer regularity in which those crimes are done, as if they're just not occurring. You have seals over there to make sure that the drugs they're throwing, they are working. They're reacting to just about every single time they're pointed its way, even though it doesn't know. Supposedly, right? To the other ones taking turns, to individuals, to the point that I can notice them at a glance, if they're involved or not. What they're gonna say is about something the way they look. The other person will look entirely different, and I pointed out to you even before before them. The one that was sitting down, it's the one taking a selfie, as I pointed out. Which indeed did pointed out before. So as I said, but always is a rhetoric, always is a bullshit story to be sold, and itself is the point. But what I'm saying is, that's nothing to do with intelligence, it's nothing to do with stupid. They are stupid, but the point here is the different body parts. As I said, everyone can see it. Most of those events are self-explanatory value, and I try to make it so. Which is why this you always see me trying to evidentiate how outrageous most of the images are, and most of the things are. For example, I mentioned cases elsewhere. You're talking about boxes in the back that nobody can see while there's two people in the front. We're talking about the systematic use of drugs on me, like yesterday. I don't even know what the point was, but it was a major deal. Like you saw happening tonight, where they throw a systematic release of heavy narcotics on them. But most importantly, they went there to destroy a home for no other purpose. They didn't like to search for the thing, just to destroy the place that was going to live at. So the narcotics they throw a night to go in. That's actually a big deal for that. That facilitated it is the point of making it possible. I don't see how that would ever happen if not for them destroying it. The issue is, it's only actually blending upwards for the thing. That could happen. Moments when I do that, because it's also filmed, and so do they. It means that's a record. So it means in the same record you get to see them going there to destroy the place we're going to sleep for no other purpose than to make it easy for the drugs to get inside and be briefed by me. You also see me essentially only reacting in a way that would warrant type of response by the time I was sleeping. Because anything like to stop it from sleeping. So it's like he met them absolutely nothing. Anything about not lack of knowledge or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not like I'm actually doing what they're doing to me, which makes themselves and accepted. And pointing out the things that I am in fact doing. And the idea is that they can just brutally overwhelm me. Because essentially what you see, I've said that before, the general knowledge of this crime for a long time has meant that there's so many crimes, including atrocities, to be done. proportion to how serious they are very often, to the point where there'll be so much and I would not be able to move all of that. Again, that's contrast, given the sheer level of things we're talking. We're talking about being mean to each other, or say bad things on the internet. We're talking about using so much drugs that person can only think, or doing the things they did to her. They literally contaminated Chip with a contagious disease as an attempt to make a joke, something about me. I just think you realize the edge to this, and you should really look into the weak side of this crime goes. But none of the facts is going to change the reality, which is that none of the other cats got this. She doesn't interact with other cats to begin with. And the only thing that has the point is this. And plus, there's prior history amongst this disease because they infected me with this thing back home. They're going to go there when the time comes. But yes, in Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, in the suburban, not even suburban, almost like this very urbanized, with a single dog that doesn't also interact with any other dogs or even walk in the street. Somehow, criminals did that to that because they also found funny, which is, again, yet another textbook name of war crime. By the way, the level of changing behaviors when you're saying this, that's why I think the video of that. I think it's very simple that how is that? It's like the argument is instead of cheating. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay? So, by all means. Every time you look at her, just know this. They did that to her. None of the other cats have it. Even to now, none of them have presented none of those symptoms. Her mother didn't have it. None of the other cats, and there was the other cats, my cat never caught it. The other ones haven't. The one question mark was the cats that I haven't seen that in several months. But even then, guess what? They also wouldn't. And you're gonna have yet another proof that I'm not even diving on it right now to understand how absurd that proposition is. So as I said, pay close attention to that because that's something done by them. And it's gonna be weird. It's another release of the We're going in now. By the way, I remember that I was talking about the friends of things before, that they were bad. I don't know if something changed. I don't know if my path is going to change. I don't know if that. At this point, it's telephone for me. Actually, wanted to keep me. So notice that every time that I'm about to stop talking to do something else, they create depression jokes in here or something else. That's because it creates in me this sensation of I just need to give some meaning to all this time that I'm spending here, and I cannot grasp that. So instead, I just keep pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward. Then until the phone runs out of space. Or something similar. Turkey is already in the benefit to begin with, so I could stop right there. But and again, that is just the poison management kind of place. So many things have to kind of place. But cheer for the baby to be treated. So something else that I don't know is just caused by them or not. The baby thing I say that them on the knowing this crime, you'll be surprised that it's lives. Okay. And under the constant threat, literally as if a gun to your head, that it's just going to be going out as the assumption that, it's just some coincidence or some of the crap you can do. That's the value of all the gaslighting. That's what masturbators really look like. If you want to really know the state of what masturbators do and their harm and what it is, that's what it is. Okay, the assumption that they can do whatever they want and there's nothing you can do about that because there's always going to be a masturbator to give them a nice firm hand whenever they need it. And that's the point. So that is when but every other individual as well, equally. And pay close attention to that. So, again, apart from that, now this is officially public. It was always public before. This is an important fact to understand. None of those crimes are secret. None of those crimes even could qualify as qualifying as a whistleblower because that's not a whistle. That is not at any point a whistle. Essentially, at the end of the day, this is a affirmation of our knowledge, the facts that everyone knows about. And as I said, this simple understanding of what is actually happening takes a single jump as you think, what would you do in that situation? Right? It's simple as that for the most cases. And I just wanted to showcase the sheer entitlement of individuals from the one you saw. So pay attention, look around you. See the knowledge that you're going to have. I was going to say it's pointless because it has nothing to do. You're not talking to me back. It's just things in my head. But notice that goes along with the lack of breath. Yeah. But, just important. We're gonna do more of this, so you see. After all, it's more of a yes or no situation. After all, if you're gonna behave as bizarre, you're gonna do something about it, right? You don't want to be experienced completely bizarrely and you just go on with your life. That's how nefarious is for a man. Okay? Now you understand a couple of the other things that I mentioned throughout that. This notion that they actually will just keep doing this until I break and I do something myself, or I do something else objectively that they can presumably at face value with some appearance of propriety to harm me in a modified way. And all it takes for you to understand how bizarre many of those criminals are is good. It gives more than a couple seconds look. I think for now. So the issue is they're listening and seeing everything that you're seeing, except that they're seeing and listening as I'm talking. Which means that for all the things you're seeing from the future, you have to understand and appreciate they're listening to now. Remember, several of them passing around me already showcases they understand perfectly what I'm saying each point of the conversation. Excuse me, don't have such thing. Of me reporting what they're doing. So pay attention to that. It's a very important point for you to realize. That's the worker. And if you need an explanation for that, you're just not a person that should be analyzing this.